Good evening, my friend. Welcome to the show. I am Lou Mangello. It is Wednesday night, my favorite night. And after today, day of the week, it was the opening of the EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival. We'll get to that in a second. If you're watching live, thank you very much for being here. Sit back, relax, grab a snack, tag and invite a friend to join us tonight. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to join us every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern right here. Turn on notifications on the WDW radio page, as well as in the WDW radio clubhouse, so you don't miss a thing, including when I go live not on Wednesday nights. For example, nice segue, this weekend I'm going to be live again. I'm putting on my glasses so I make sure I get this right. This Saturday, I'll be live from Disney Springs, specifically the Art of Disney. My friend, author Ridley Pearson is going to be there signing his brand new book. It just came out this week, Kingdom Keeper's Inheritance. I'm going to go live with Ridley before his signing around 9:45 a.m.-ish Eastern, if all things go to plan. And if you're in town, come down to Art of Disney, pick up a copy, have Ridley sign it for you. He is a great guy. Really, really looking forward to seeing and chatting with him again. And he loves when we do live stuff together. So if you can't be there in person, join me live. Just grab a cup of coffee and some caffeine and have a day. So Ashley Bittenbender, yes, today was there was a lot happening today, and I suffer the plagues of being only able to be in one location at one time. And I know what you referenced. Today was the opening of the International Flower and Garden Festival, which I'm not always like I'm never an I need to be there first day kind of guy, but today I'm like, we're going to go for the first day. They did a sort of media invite, and a lot of folks were there. And I had heard rumors that Mando and Grogu were going to be making their debut at Disney's Hollywood Studios. The first rumblings I heard was talking about this past weekend they were going to be introduced. It may or may not have played a role in my decision to have the meet of the month at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Thank you, by the way, if you were there. We had a really, really nice crowd. Really appreciate you being there. But I figure if the rumors are true, it would be quite fortuitous to be in the right place at the right time. They were not, but Mando appeared with Baby Yoda, Grogu, today to coincide with the release of The Mandalorian today. Actually, it was 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. I was not able to do that. And actually, tonight's show is going to be relatively short because I have a date. I have a date after the show tonight. I have a date with Grogu and you. If you are part of the Nation family, we are doing our first time in a long time. We are having a Mandalorian Episode 1 live watch party. It takes place online. I'm going to be able to fire up Disney Plus. We're going to be able to share it, have a group chat with members of the Nation family. If you're in the Nation, check your email. If you are a bronze member and above, we've done this in the past with, I don't remember what shows and movies we did this with. Was it Loki? I don't know. We've done it with a few. These are a lot of fun. Haven't done this in a long time, so really, really looking forward to Mandalorian Episode 1 tonight. The wait is over. We will be doing it again with the Nation. And if you want to find out how you can be part of the Nation, go to www.radionation.com or just www.radio.com/support. So I miss Grogu in person today. We will be seeing Grogu later on tonight. I can't wait. I cannot wait. This series is the one I've looked forward to most since the last two episodes of She-Hulk when Daredevil was introduced. So it has been a while. So Moon Knight, Beatrice, that's right. It was Moon Knight. I could not. I'm old and a little sunburned and somewhat dehydrated from a great day, by the way, at the Flower and Garden Festival today. I went in with no sort of preconceived plan, and when I got there, I was going to just sort of do like a reconnaissance mission, and then plan to do a day of recording later on. I got in, I just took out my recorder, I started talking to myself, which is what I do a lot. And then along the way, I sort of ran into some friends, and I said, hey, as long as we're here, we might as well let's just eat something and record it. And next thing you know, a show was born. So this coming week's show, I'm going to share with you my not one, not two, not three, not 10, but top 5 new things you need to try at this year's Flower and Garden Festival. There was, until the very end, a clear winner, like by leaps and bounds, a clear surprise winner that this horse wasn't even in the race. And I'm not even sure I'm using the right euphemism here, but this horse wasn't in the race and came out of nowhere and stole the show, won the Triple Crown, whatever it might be. Everything that we had in this one marketplace was fantastic. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. So, Beatrice Dennis, nothing new. I'm assuming that you're talking about nothing new, me talking to myself. Ashley Bittenbender, if I tell you the best thing that I had today, then you're not going to want to listen to the show. If I give away the best thing, the only thing I will tell you is until the very, very end of the show, there was a clear winner. We sort of did like a little wrap up, and I thought there was a clear winner. And then I had a calling. And this is not a reference to the old restroom show from a couple of weeks ago, but I had a calling, and I turned around and I went back to try something that I regretted not. And I'm going to go again. We're going to do probably, I think, multiple shows from the festival because it's like 127 days. It goes until July 5th. This is a long festival. There's a lot going on. I think more marketplace kiosks are still going to open up, and a couple of them change over twice. But I went back. I tried something by myself, and you'll have to listen. You'll have to hear. But there was a lot of really, really good stuff. I've been sharing a lot on my Instagram, not specifically the food pics, because I want the show to be a bit of a surprise. I was going to hold it off, but I think I'm going to make it be Monday's show. Tomorrow, I will bring another one out from the archives. If there's one that you'd like from the archives that you'd like me to bump to the top of the list, this is a very free-flowing, democratic process. So if there's one like, hey, I love this one, I haven't heard this one, here's one I hear people talking about, I think some new listeners like that, shoot me a message, post it in the clubhouse, and let me know. So Sue Passower says, clear winner, we know it wasn't sweets because you're not a sweets guy. Also very true. But there were a couple of sweet-ish, not Swedish, sweet-ish things that may have made the list today. There were a couple that were just sweet enough that, again, there's good stuff. So Ashley says, now I'm hungry and excited for this episode. Don't listen hungry. Assuming that the recorder actually worked, don't listen hungry. So Garrett says, is the Honey Bistro back? It is. It was his favorite in 2018. The Honey Bistro is back, and that's all I'm going to say about that. That is a obscure Forrest Gump reference, but it's true because you're going to get me to give away not just some of my favorites, but things that are, well, wait, Becky's probably not here, so I can give away things that are on the whiteboard. Lou Mangello, can you bring us on the land attraction with you? Thank you in advance. Amy, I could. I was almost going to stay, excuse me, and do the live show from the festival. But one, it's really hard because it's crowded at night. There's a lot of sort of downtime when you're trying to go in between booths, and then you run into people there, and I think it's distracting for you, the viewer, when there's a lot of conversations going on there or we're waiting online. So I don't think it's a good necessarily flow for a live show, especially if there's a group of people there. But I promise you, we will go back to the festival, but I'll go back during the day. So we'll do it on a non-Wednesday night. I'll let you know in advance. Not in the next couple of weeks, because, and actually, I should remember this to tell you this now. Next Wednesday, excuse me, I am 93.7% sure There will not be a Wednesday night live show, at least not at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And the reason why is because next Wednesday, after a delay of, am I right? Is it almost 4 years? It can't be. I think so. I think this was originally planned in 2019. We're going to Italy. We are finally taking our WDW Radio Group Adventure by Disney to Italy, to Rome, Florence, Venice, and Tuscany, March 10th. I am leaving on March 8th to get ourselves over there and acclimated to the time. So depending on where I am, either at an airport, on a flight somewhere, or landing somewhere in Rome, I will try and go live. I'll be sharing a lot on my Instagram stories at instagram.com/LouMongello. Turn on notifications. We'll move a lot of the sort of immediate live coverage of things as they happen to there, especially while I'm in Italy. I'll be posting more on my Instagram stories and reels and posts. So if you want to sort of keep up with what's going on while I'm there, that would be the place to do it. And then certainly we'll do stuff, in the clubhouse as well. So I am super excited. I'm not going to cry. This is a very bittersweet thing for me because my daughter's not able to come. So I'm going to warn the folks on the Italy ABD trip, like from the group in advance, like I'm going to be crying a lot on this trip. I'm going to be crying when I leave on Wednesday because my daughter can't come. I won't bore you with the story. This was supposed to be when she was enrolled in another college. She was accepted to one college. This was going to be their break. She ended up moving over to another university. It is not when their break is, so she is unable to attend. So I'm going to be crying when I leave. I'm going to cry when I get there. It's the motherland. My dad never got there. Vatican, Sistine Chapel. It's just going to be a tear fest. So I'll let those folks know, but I will try and limit the amount of emotion that I show on my Instagram stuff. So Mike Beckerman, or Beckermano, as we like to say, ABD in the motherland, said he had to miss out, but can't wait for the river cruise this December. I cannot as well. December 9th through the 16th, we're hitting the Danube River and the Christmas markets in an 8-day Budapest, Bratislava, Vienna, Wachau Valley, Salzburg, Passau, and Munich. I have never been there. I cannot wait. It is a very different experience than a Disney Cruise Line experience. There is just about 100 cabins or so. I know a few of you who are watching, including Mike, tonight are going to be joining us. This is going to be something really special. I talked about it last week. I won't go through it a lot again, but you can visit wdwradio.com/NatGeo23 to find out more and get a free, no obligation quote. What I dig too is like everything is included, like all the food, all the tours, all the admission, the Nat Geo guy, the Nat Geo photographer that's going to teach us like how to take great pictures in all of these incredible destinations. I think I mentioned the food already too. So Beatrice says, I cannot wait for the river cruise in December for my motherland. It's going to be something special. I think I need to probably buy winter clothes at some point. I think I need probably different clothes than the ones that I have in my closet. Amy said you can have a blast. My parents had fun there. I'm super excited for Italy once I get past all of the emotion of my daughter not being able to go. And December is going to be incredible. December is going to be amazing. So there is still availability on the December cruise. If you're interested, again, go and visit www.radio.com/NatGeo23. Speaking of limited availability, and then I promise we're going to get into the theme Disney Resort stuff. I still have only 2. After today, it might only be 1 spot left for my Momentum Weekend Retreat, April 28th through the 30th, Friday through Sunday. Again, everything is included. All you need to do is get yourself there. 10 entrepreneurs in a vacation home near Walt Disney World. A fun, intensive, move the needle. Like, I want you, whatever that thing is that you love, I want you to be able to like enjoy it like a hobby, but treat it like a business. And this and mastermind retreats like this are really the best way to sort of turn the corner and really help you grow your band, or your band, grow your brand, grow your business, and honestly improve your life. Again, to find out more, I won't spend too much time on there. Lori Oliveri says, time to dig out the Alaska clothes. I hope I didn't give them all the Goodwill. I think I've got some warm clothes in there somewhere because it does get cold in here in Florida every so often, including this past weekend. Speaking of which, by the way, very quick aside, thank you for the accidental reminder. Congratulations to all of you princesses, and princes, whatever, volunteers, runners, walkers, joggers, who participated in the Princess 5K, 10K, half marathon this past weekend. You too went through a wide spectrum of not just emotions, but a wide spectrum of temperatures. It went from very cold to very hot very, very quickly, but I am so proud of all of you. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you to everybody, including Lori, who was out there cheering with us and the rest of the team. Lori went from Magic Kingdom to EPCOT. We were on the boardwalk, so thank you very much for being out there. So Nate says he just finished episode 1 of The Mandalorian. Don't spoil anything. We've got our watch party coming up right after the show tonight. I can't wait because I love watching it, but I love being able to watch it like with other people. It'll be great if you can come over to my house. I'd have to go to Publix and get more snacks. But since you can't come to my house, please don't come to my house. Call me first, again, just so I'm prepared. But we get to do it in virtually. So Bermuda does not need winter clothes. Yeah, we have our Bermuda cruise coming up. Where is that? Bermuda's coming up in April. It's like in a month. How did that just hit me? Our Bermuda cruise is on April 15th. I'm really looking forward to the overnight in Bermuda. I'm more looking forward to the fact that it's going to be 8 days, a little bit longer, a little bit more relaxing. So I might actually bring a book. I'll probably never open it, but I will just sort of bring a book just for it, to say I did. So Lori Oliveri says, I love being part of the WDW running team, walking the 5K, cheering for them in the other races. Lori, you are always such a bundle of high, joyous energy. So whether you are cheering people on as they are running and walking behind you, or cheering people on from the sidelines in Magic Kingdom or in Epcot on the boardwalk, I know what you do means not just a lot to me and the team, but to everybody else, because you cheer everybody. So thank you very much for that. So Kenneth Puccia says 2 days in Bermuda. Looking forward to it. Kenneth, I'm not sure if you can see. Wait. Right there. Thank you very much for the gift. Darren Meemkin, good seeing you again. Darren. So my daughter just guessed that the Tangle restrooms were on the list from that episode. She also commented that they aren't as clean since they're so popular. I've never had a bad, I honestly can say, I've never really had, I want to be careful how this comes out. I've never had a bad restroom experience in terms of, in Walt Disney World, in terms of cleanliness and things like that. Porta potties during race weekends notwithstanding. So Amy says, if you're a golfer, bring your clubs. Amy, golf is just another sport that I'm really, really bad at. I tried taking lessons when I was practicing law. Everybody says, listen, all the things happen, all the deals happen on the golf course. You need to take golf lessons. About 3 golf lessons in, I tapped out. I'm like, this is just not a body built for athletics at all. I tried a lot. The only thing I was relatively and I don't want to say good in, but I was comfortable in doing was martial arts. I think maybe too because it was an individual sport as opposed to really a team sport. So I didn't have the guilt of making the team bad for everybody. All I had to worry about was myself. But that was about it. I took various martial arts for a long, long time. And it was the one thing. I wish I could still take it down here, but there's just no good dojos around where I am. So Lori Oliveri needs a microphone. Lori Oliveri is a megaphone, and I mean that in the best possible way. Let's see. Mini golf. Clint, not great in mini golf either. I know my place in the circle of life. Brian said you had a bad teacher. No, Brian, I'm just bad. Some people just are not meant to do certain things. I'm okay with that. I am. I resigned myself it took me a long time. It took me till about 5th grade to realize that I'm just not good in sports. I was bad in Little League. Dad, thank you for coaching the team. Was still bad in Little League. I tried tennis. It's just not. It's not sort of where I don't know where I shine, but it certainly is not in athletics. So, let's see. Mark Twain says golf is a good walk. I like golf for the golf carts and the clubhouse. That's it. Maybe like the putting green. I'm okay in miniature golf. I could do okay in miniature golf. So, curling. If eating was a sport, Tyler Ford, I would be a medalist. I won't say gold medalist because there's a lot of people who are better at it than I am. But although today, I think we had a good day today. We had a good day. And I will tell you without spoiling that there are at least 2 people who are watching live that I literally just ran into. I sort of had an idea that one of them was going to be there. I'm not going to say the megaphone lady, but one lady was going to be there today, but I had no intentions of creating a show, and a show came out of it, and we had a lot of food and a lot of fun. So, Ellen and Matt show, I love miniature golf too. Years ago, I had actually planned, like I had it booked, I had the whole thing, and this is not a spoiler because and I think maybe even later on this year we'll do it because I could say because Becky's not here. I had planned the first annual WDW Radio mini golf tournament at Walt Disney World. I had the venue, I had the food, I had all that stuff, and for a variety of reasons, it couldn't happen at that time. It might be time to revisit that. A little friendly mini golf tournament in Walt Disney World. If only there was somebody. I mean, I can find somebody who I'm sure. So, Lou, I feel you. I can't hit a ball with an object, including hitting it with my hand. I also tried racquetball. My dad played racquetball with his friend. Not good at racquetball either. Mike Beckerman's all in. We were going to do a golf tournament, and I'm still going to do this too. We're going to do a bowling tournament at Splitsville. I had that all set up too. That fell through for a variety of reasons. My favorite miniature golf at Disney is Winter Summerland. It's just I think it's the best themed, sort of most casual fun. Some of the ones like Fantasia, where is it? Fantasia Gardens is the really hard one. What's the other one? Not Fantasia Gardens, Fantasia Fairways. It's been a really long time since I've been on either of those courses, but they're challenging courses. Matt, I did try bocce. It's so funny you said bocce. Like nobody knows bocce unless you grew up like in Italy or New Jersey in the 70s. We played bocce. We always used to have like parties. My parents had parties at the house, and we played bocce. I'm sure I was bad at that too. But I can picture and see and hear the big green and maroon balls and the sounds that they made when they hit each other. I'm thinking about the fairways. Fairways is frustrating, right? Fairways is bad. Fairways bad, gardens good. Fairways bad, gardens good. Fairways is hard. And they're Fantasia themed, but they're very difficult. They're difficult for me. So, is it real bowling or the stupid big balls? I don't know what the stupid, Mindy, I don't know what those, you know what, dodgeball? I was only good at dodgeball because I was a tiny little person. So I could sort of like bob and weave. I couldn't actually throw the ball. God, I was bad at basketball. Like, I want to apologize to anybody I ever went to grammar school with. Because like, when like you'd line up in 2 lines and you have to sort of take turns. You have to like make it in the basket, and the first team to get through their whole line wins. I was always picked last. Hi, it's okay. I was always picked last, and I was all the way in the back. So my team could like blow through. Everybody does well, and there's like 20 other people on the other team. I literally just couldn't get my little chicken arms to get. I'm still really bad. I'm still really, really bad at basketball. So that's fine. We're all friends. I don't mind sharing that with you. Duck pin bowling. I don't even know what duck pin bowling is. Cornhole. I could maybe I could sort of. I'm probably bad at that too, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Candle pin bowling. They're about bowling at sushi at Splitsville. See, Clint, that's because it's less about the bowling and more about the sushi, which is why I like that idea. So either my lighting is really off, or I really got a lot of like color on my face today accidentally. The sun was hot that day, my friends. Tim Brown says basketball didn't work, and thus Greece. Yeah, I realized it. I literally was like the opposite of Danny Zuko. Danny Zuko, like he couldn't excel in sports like basketball or like that's why remember Sid Caesar, long distance running. I was the opposite. I didn't excel in any sport. So like maybe you're a theater kid. Maybe that's the group that you should. I probably wasn't even a good theater kid. I was probably just the computer nerd as a kid. So candlepin bowling. Yeah, I've never heard of candlepin bowling. And somebody said, Kevin Shea, they have bocce at Bay Lake Hotel. I don't know if I know the rules of bocce. You have to throw the little ball and then try and get the big balls around it or just to touch it. Whatever. We played it in the backyard. I probably wasn't, Ashley says Mario Kart is my sport of choice, especially at that other park. I'm not even good at Mario Kart. I'm more of a first-person shooter. Put me like in a first-person shooter from like 1987. That really is like my sweet spot. Atari 2600. That's really where I shone. But anyway, enough about the traumas of my childhood and adulthood, as it were, because that didn't really matter. Let's talk about Disney-themed resorts. It was one of the questions on our conversation from this past week's show with Becky Menken. We talked about some of the themed resort rooms, as well as a number of other topics, but we sort of paused there and talked about this idea of not just adding IP into the rooms, like we were talking about, it was sort of brought up by this idea of bringing the Incredibles over to Bay Lake Tower, to the Contemporary Resort, and what people thought about it one way or the other. And because if you think about it, as a whole, there are some themed rooms, and we'll talk about those in a second, but for the most part, the theming of the resorts is painted in very broad strokes, right? They're location-based. So it's the boardwalk, Hawaii, New Orleans, Caribbean, California, Key West, Saratoga Springs, for example. There's also just sort of overarching general themes, music, sports, pop culture, etc. You have a few others like Animal Kingdom Lodge and some that have, like Boulder Ridge Villas also, like it's a little bit more specific as you start to drill down, right? It's those railroad hotels of the American West in the mid to late 1800s. Beach Club is, again, that time-specific 1870s New England beach clubs. Boardwalk is more like the Atlantic coast in the early 1900s. A lot of New Jersey influences there. Coronado, northern Mexico, American Southwest. I know there's a few others that I'm missing along the way. And then obviously there's the Star Cruiser is different, right? It doesn't sort of fit into this because that's more experiential lodging. And we had a great conversation, by the way, to all of you who are in the nation who are on our call on Monday night. Had a very, very smart, very intelligent, intellectual discussion about the Star Cruiser, where it is, what are some of the challenges it and Disney and guests are facing, and some ideas about how to address and possibly work around some of those issues on the Star Cruiser. So I'm looking in the chat. You have a few ideas of, let me just go back. Ashley Grissom says, I want a Hollywood hotel themed resorts and rooms. I want all pop to be returned to the Fab Five, shades of green. If I was an Imagineer, I'd like to. So, Mike Beckerman, get out of my head, man, because I had some ideas for themed resorts, and an SEA themed resort literally is on the top of my list. I think it's not outside the realm of possibility as we start to see the introduction for the general population that might not sort of drill down as maybe deep as we do for some of these attractions. But as the SCA starts to come to a little bit more prominence and a little more of the zeitgeist of the Disney parks and Disney fandom, an SCA themed or explorers hotel would be a fantastic idea. Like I would love to see something like that. I think some of, I meant to show, where was it? I meant to show me and part of what prompted this conversation too, we do have on property now some of the concept that they had talked about came to fruition. Pirate themed rooms, art of animation with the variety of royal rooms, art, Lion King rooms, Cars themed rooms, Finding Nemo rooms, Little Mermaid rooms, even subtly so, the Mary Poppins theming over in Grand Floridian. We have, again, that those subtle Moana touches at the Polynesian resort, The Incredibles, which I think fits, right? It's this mid-century modern that's not just the resort, but now even with the lobby, it ties in, I think, appropriately to not just that film, but that resort, because you can't make a resort that's always going to be futuristic themed because you run into the same problem that Tomorrowland has. I can't believe how many people, not that one, reached out to me asking me if this was real concept art and is this really coming? This is real concept art that was released by Disney in around 2010, 2011 or so, when they were talking about a haunted mansion and royal rooms. I don't know why this concept never came to pass. This would, accidental pun, this would kill. This would absolutely kill. People would absolutely go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over themed haunted mansion rooms. I think SEA is another concept. I think things like Alice in Wonderland. I think you can, I was thinking earlier too, getting ready for tonight. I love Tokyo Disneyland, Tokyo Disney Sea specifically, and Mysterious Island. This Jules Vernean, Victorian steampunk-ish land that could be expanded into a hotel, right? Even taking more inspiration from Verne, not just 20,000 Leagues, Journey to the Center of the Earth, In Search of the Castaways, Around the World in 80 Days, but that sort of Victorian era hotel, not like a Grand Floridian, but something that was a little bit more, I don't want to say whimsically themed, but more themed to that time period, even some of those films. So you get a little bit more of that Victorian era, but you can also sort of, and I know maybe not everybody knows, I don't know if they're teaching kids in school, if they're reading Jules Verne anymore. I should probably ask my son. He's going to say, Jules Verne, isn't that the guy that Cora referred to in Tron? Yes, but he also wrote 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Valerie said a villains themed resort, which I also had on my list. Without making it scary, I think people would love the idea of sort of going into this hotel that was maybe taken over in a fun, playful way by the Disney villains. Ken says one themed off One Man's Dream, just Walt and the history, Carthay Circle. So you could sort of take this idea of that time period, right? The time that Walt came to California, which is what that section of DCA is sort of themed after. And it could be one that pays a lot of tribute to Walt, but you can't overly theme that, right? You could have photos of Walt that could be themed towards that time period, but I don't know that you can have one that would be specifically like themed around that. Nate, again, I think Haunted Mansion is something that would make absolutely perfect sense. Elizabeth said, so Elizabeth, what did you think of your pirate room experience? I've stayed in Pirates. I've stayed in Princess. I've stayed in the Mary Poppins room, the Cars rooms. I really like the Cars rooms over at Art of Animation. I'm not sure if I showed that as well. Christine Morrison, if there's a Marvel themed resort, sign me up. Right. And I know that there is the New York sort of Marvel themed hotel in Disneyland Paris. No, I'm not staying there when I go this time, but we will when we take our future group trip to London and Paris. Becky's not here. I could say it. It's fine. We are going to go to London, Paris. Would love to do something there. A Wreck-It Ralph video game room at the Contemporary. Or just bring back the old Fiesta Fun Center. Like, I would love to see an arcade again. I know arcades are not big money makers, but I would love to see a sort of retro themed arcade, which is why Flynn's would be super cool in Tomorrowland, but I just don't know. I'm not sure that that's actually what I think is going to happen there. Yeah, so Mandy, I agree. I think a lot of people really felt that those themed rooms like the Haunted Mansion room would have been incredibly popular, and they never really gave an explanation as to why they weren't created. Like, there's nothing scary about them. There's nothing cryptic about them that's like, it has nothing to do with like death and any of that kind of stuff. Like, it's just a really cool, well-themed, and there's a sense of whimsy to it too, right? With that sort of, there's almost a little bit of squash and stretch in the design of the armoire and design of the chairs, right? That's sort of the face chair from the hallway, which I know a lot of people refer to as the Donald Duck chairs, right? So where would the Haunted Mansion rooms be? Matt, I don't know. The only place that I could maybe, does it go into a Port Orleans room? Does it go into a Port Orleans Riverside room? And maybe that's part of the problem, right? Where do you put this room? I picture it in a moderate resort as opposed to a deluxe resort, because it is very much like, and let me see if I can quickly find, I think it very much is like the royal rooms, right? Which are that are not in deluxe resorts. I think I had a picture of the Cars. Yeah, so like even the Cars themed rooms, which I think are super cool, with the table that's also that folds up out of the way as well. They don't have to be super deluxe rooms, but then again, they also can be, right? If they are more experiential, we talked about the idea of being willing to pay a little bit more for a room like that. So Aaron Wiley says, what is the SEA? SEA is the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. It is this overarching story that began with the Adventurers Club. It has been expanded out into places like the Jungle Cruise, Skipper Canteen, locations in California, Harrison Hightower, even a little bit of places in like Frontierland, places in Tokyo. But it is this secret society of explorers and adventurers in the late 1800s. And all of these people have connected stories. Even Typhoon Lagoon has a connection to the SEA. If somebody can quickly look up, I don't want to take a time to, we did a show about the secrets, history, and story of the, wait, that's tomorrow's show. Maybe that's tomorrow's show. If somebody can quickly find that, but we did do a show at the SEA. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. See, this is how it happens. This is how you help determine the direction of the episodes. And tomorrow, the show from the archives, I'll pull out the episode about the SEA, because I love those stories and I love the potential for what that could eventually be. Something themed after Mystic Manor. So Nate Gluckley, Mystic Manor is in my top 3 attractions of Disney attractions worldwide. Once I visit Paris, I will do a top 10 of Disney attractions worldwide. And barring me, Mystic Manor might be very hard to knock out of the top three. And that's saying a lot because Shanghai Pirates is probably in that conversation. I wonder if a Walt Disney World one is in a top three or not. I have to really, really think it out. The problem with Mystic Manor is nobody in the States who has not been to Hong Kong has no idea what that is. And by the way, you want to hear, I should do this too, one of the best soundtracks and themes and scores to an attraction, Mystic Manor. Mystic Manor is up there. Compass of Your Heart is the winner. I'll spoil it right away. My emotional heartstrings will tug towards Sherman Brothers, but man, Compass of Your Heart. I need to share this in the clubhouse. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I keep forgetting. Compass of Heart. When it's sung by Alan Menken on stage at D23 Expo in Tokyo in 2015, 2013, somewhere around there, it gets me all verklempt. It is such a beautiful song, and to hear him sing it in English is beautiful. Let's see. It would be cool for a Villains-themed resort built off the Villains-themed land they imagined at D23, which, Sue, I imagine could eventually take over that island that sits behind Frontierland. I've said this before. I would love to see this idea of somehow going out the back of Frontierland, crossing this bridge, crossing this threshold, and sort of bringing you into this multiversal Villains-themed land on that island would be a fantastic idea. You're not building a fifth gate, which I do not think will ever happen in terms of a Villains-themed fifth gate, but it would very much satisfy and scratch the itch for so many people that want something Villains-themed. And yes, you could tie in a resort somewhere. There's just nowhere back there really to build a resort that is accessible to guests. But then again, you never know. Walt's South American tour themed hotel. So Shea Bree. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Is that enough of an attractor to the everyday guest? Is somebody go, hey, they just built a South American themed hotel from the 50s. I'm not sure, because that's how you have to think, right? We can't think with our hearts. You have to think as a shareholder. You have to think of as an investor. You have to think as a board member. What is going to be the thing that's going to attract the most number of guests and that we're going to be able to fill? We would love those from a sentimental, nostalgic point of view. I'm not sure that's one that could get filled. I'm seeing a lot of love for the Fiesta Fun Center. I see you. I hear you. We probably ran into each other while we were there. Port Orleans, a lot of Port Orleans. A deluxe version of the Haunted Mansion could be amazing. That's not a bad idea too, right? Maybe take a section of one of the rooms maybe you take a building. I mean, if we're gonna have fun dreaming, let's dream. Take a building in Grand Floridian and make it like a haunted building. I don't know if you'd scare people. You have to worry. You don't want to scare people off. And this may come as a shock to you. In 2023, not everybody takes everything. Some people take things very, very seriously. If you say a building is haunted, they're going to be like, wait a minute, I'm never going to sleep there because it's haunted. But I think most guests would get the joke and would love it. Kevin Shea National Treasure, Liberty Square, historical, Adventurers Club type hotel room. So I love it. You love it. I bet you a lot of people watching love it. Does that rise to the level of being an attractor for enough of the general population, right? Because you're not building rooms, you're not building hotels for a very small segment. You want to build one. And I don't like having to be a realist and think in those terms, but I think that you do, unfortunately. Ashley says a Zootopia themed room in or near Disney's Animal Kingdom. I also dig. Lori, Mystic Manor is so good. So good. One of my, I don't know if I can see it from here. Can you? Wait. No, it's right. One of my favorite collectibles I ever brought home was the little music box from Mystic Matter. And I love that that music. Jason says, show 579 is the Disney Secret Society, a complete guide to the SEA 579. I think I'll bring that one up for tomorrow's show from the archives, which, by the way, quick show of hands. Are you liking the second episode from the archives in your feed? Are you, is there enough time in the week for you to listen to both? Are you skipping it? Do you like it? Like, I really, this is an experiment, and I'm doing this for you. And so any feedback is very, very, very welcome and very helpful as well. So Amy says, as an Avatar fan, I'd love to stay in Pandora. So that's really interesting. And honestly, I have not seen The Way of Water yet, I know. But so I don't know what that look and feel is like. What would this Avatar themed hotel look like? Would it look like you're in sort of a very organic themed room? Is it something that is a leftover from the, oh God, I'm drawing a blank on the name, on the old mining company, like Satuli Cantinas, like old barracks that you're living in that have been, whoops, hey, what happened there? That was odd. Old barracks that have since been updated so that guests could stay in there. Turn Tower of Terror back into a hotel. I you know how much I love that original idea. A Disney Cruise Line themed hotel, all you can eat soft serve. So Michael, I was like, where is he going? But you had me at all you can eat soft serve and chicken fingers by the pool. It's one of the things I'm most looking forward to about getting on the fantasy next month. I almost forgot about the chicken fingers and Midship Detective Agency, but mostly the chicken fingers and the banana soft serve. Who's coming in April, by the way? Who's joining us in April? Kevin Shea, don't tease me with Tron. Don't tease me with a Tron-themed hotel. I still don't think it's going to happen, this sort of end-of-line club that I'd love to be in tomorrow in Power and Light. I think Beckerman had the right idea. I think it's going to be, or the right idea in that it would be awesome if it could be some sort of like Flynn's Arcade. I don't know that that's what it might be, but a Tron-themed hotel with an end-of-line club and like cool, yeah, I would be all over it. Are enough people? Probably not. Mike Beckman says, love having the archive shows. It's like having a time machine. Kendra, it's his first time home being able to participate in the calls. I'm so happy right now. Kendra, I am so happy that you are here. Thank you for watching. Tell me where you are watching from and what are you snacking on. Tim says, rather than jumping by myself through the archive, it's nice to have it curated if it makes sense. It totally does, because I think it's hard. Like it's overwhelming. Even me going back and I don't think some shows, because there was a lot of different segments, it was hard for me to convey in a short title what the show and what all the segments was about. So I go back and I'm listening to some and I'm reading through the show notes and I'm like, the title of this episode doesn't tell me that. It might not attract somebody to go back and listen to this show, which is why I'm sort of cherry picking specific segments as opposed to just recycling the entire episode. Because some things too just are no longer no longer relevant. Like you don't want to hear news from 2007, 2008. It just doesn't make any sense. So Elizabeth's going to be there in April. I know you were showing me like your cool excursions that you guys have planned. Beatrice and Brian. Emily Ennis ordered her shirts today. Thank you again to Keith Groshans. I'm not sure if you're here for the awesome cruise logo. I should share it in the clubhouse just in case anybody is interested. It's a really, really cool sort of retro. It's a retro themed logo. Debbie says, I can't wait. Bermuda's I haven't been to Bermuda since I was a little kid. with my parents, which basically means I basically haven't gone there. So Kenneth is going with his family in April. We're going to have such a good time. Kate says, I appreciate the updated versions. Beatrice loves the cruise logo. Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. We have a lot of really, really fun things planned. Becky and I have met a lot in this past week about some other things that are coming up as well, some other events that we're putting together. I'm going to do a couple of things that I haven't done in a very long time that I want to resurrect, as it were. That will become clear as time goes on, possibly in the next few months. It's nothing big, but it's something that I used to do and I haven't done in a long time and I want to start doing again. So David Turner went all the way back to episode 1 and now he's going forward. He's always, man, David Turner, I give you a lot of credit, my friend. Thank you very much for doing that. So Christy says, I like comparing old news to what actually happened. Somebody said I should do that, like bring back or pull out some of the old rumors that we talked about and predictions that we had to see how wrong or maybe lucky we got along the way. Maybe at some point I can do that, but Nate wants to know, can somebody smuggle me onto their luggage for this cruise? I can't, but maybe Beatrice can. I'm only kidding. But we will take you with us. No, Tim Brown, I promise you I am not killing off park snacks again. It is not. This is something that's good. It's adding something as opposed to taking something away. So how's that? Patrice Roberti is snacking on vanilla mochi from Trader Joe's. I'm not a sweets guy, Patrice, but I do love mochi and I do love Trader Joe's. Of course, now I wish I was eating tachos. Those tachos I had a few weeks ago from Woody's Lunchbox, so good. How could I possibly... I ate so much today, so much today, but it was worth it. I can't wait for them to hear, it was collective, our favorite booth. It was shocking. When we went, I'm like, this booth has traditionally not been very good. I'm going to give it one more shot, and I was blown out of the water. So, can we get a cruise ranking? So Ken, do you mean cruise ships? Do you mean cruise destinations, overall cruise itineraries? Because it's a very, very, very subjective list. Like, I love the classic ships. I love the Magic, which has always been my favorite ship. The Wonder is very, very, very close, if not just eking out over because of the Tiana-themed restaurant and the New Orleans streetcar-themed Dr. Facilier cool coaster-themed Promenade Lounge. I do love the Dream and the Fantasy as well. The Wish is in the conversation, but it is not my favorite ship for reasons that have nothing to do with the ship itself. As somebody who leads groups on that ship, it is very, very difficult. So there's just things about that. Hannah, there's nobody in the room. I just talked to the door as if there was somebody there, as if there was like an Ed McMahon sitting there, but there's nobody. It's just me. So if that makes me a little bit of a crazy person, then there you go. So when and what will be the next DSI? You tell me. I mean that like not snarkily. I mean that honestly. Let's put a poll in the clubhouse and you guys vote on where you would like the next DSI Disney Scene Investigation to be. A deep, deep, deep dive into the history, secrets, stories of an attraction, of a land, of an extinct attraction, something maybe that you miss or something that you missed along the way. If somebody could start that conversation for me in the clubhouse, I would be very, very, very grateful, and we will do it. And if you think that you are the person, the expert on any one of those things and would like to join me on the show, absolutely let me know as well. Let's see. Kevin Shea says, I love the vault. I've listened to every episode since day one. Kevin, you're a good man, brother. I appreciate you. Enjoy the idea of visiting the top moments. Thank you for the Alice Davis interview. History captured well. Thank you. You always make me feel, Kevin, when I am having a bad day, I'm just going to call you up because you always have such nice things to say, and it really does touch me and appreciate it. Gabriella, if you go to WDWradio.com, click on the podcast tab. On the top, there's 3 category buttons. It's interviews, top 10s, and I believe it's DSIs. You should be able to, I think most of them have been categorized correctly, hopefully. I still need help, by the way, with going through and putting and continuing to fill in the shows on a spreadsheet, if that's your thing. That should give you most of them. Or you could just search for DSI, and it should bring you a list up in the search bar as well. Or depending on what podcast player you listen to, like Pocket Cast has a very, very good search function. So you go into you go into W Radio and then click on it, and it should be able to do it. So Kevin, I've done a DSI on Horizons a long, and that's actually on the list of one that I was going to pull. And I've done the Disney Decade. A lot of talk about Michael Eisner. I have to find that. I'm almost sure I did Pleasure Island, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I need to. I wrote notes here. I have no idea. Plus of Heart. What was that supposed to be? Plus of Heart? DSI. God, my handwriting is awful. DSI Pleasure Island would be one to do. My wife and I enjoyed the interview with Dewan Rivers. Dewan was awesome. Thank you. That was all Dewan. I just sort of turned on the mic and, led him around a little bit. Yeah, he's a fascinating person. So actually, I last week went on location somewhere, but off property, and did an interview with someone who I think the story, the lessons, and what this person created is remarkable and fascinating, and I cannot wait to share it with you. I was going to do it this week, but I think I'm going to do it next week. If I can do it from Italy, I'm going to try and be able to publish from Italy. We'll find out if that happens or not, but I'm going to do the food and wine stuff for Monday. I'll do a DSI of, we'll do the DSI SEA. A lot of acronyms. SEA, DSI tomorrow, and then, yeah, we'll DSI of the NBA experience. It'll be the shortest show I ever did. And no, there will be no plane walking in my future. So, want to see some Disney archaeology episodes focusing on extinct attractions. So, Josh, I haven't done those in a long time. I used to call them Wayback Machine episodes. I know we've done If You Had Wings, we did Horizons, we did Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I would do another Wayback Machine. Again, if somebody posts this in the clubhouse, what sort of a DSI or a Wayback Machine would you like? Because they're sort of somewhat interchangeable. And I'm going to do another, I should do a Wayback Machine from a specific year. I've done it in 1983. I think I did 73. I'll have to look at, I'm never going to be able to read this. I hope somebody is writing this down and can send it to me. We'll need to do another Wayback Machine, and that snapshot in time of Walt Disney World in a time during it is past. Yeah, my schedule in Italy, I don't know. So I don't know how the publishing is going to be. I'm going to try and get as much done before I walk out the door next week. But it is a wildly crazy week this week. I will do the best that I can. I promise. It's a one-man show. There's literally nobody sitting there. It's all just me. So, Ashley says way back to 1994, 1998. Yeah, I think I did 93, but maybe I didn't. Yeah, if somebody can help me, I have to look at that too. I'll have to figure out Wayback Machine. Maybe something in the 90s. I think 93, 90, especially if I did 73 and 83, 93 would be perfect and appropriate. If only there was somebody, anybody who could help me do and research. Actually, I should, yeah. You can hear, listen, you hear the wheels spinning? Anyway, all right, that is going to do it because I need to go and get ready for our Mandalorian WDW Radio Nation watch party. Emily Emma says it was one for 86. I need to go back and do some more. Last minute couple of reminders. First of all, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll be sharing some more from the festival today, later on tonight, and tomorrow. I didn't get to post everything that I have. Look for the festival show coming up next week. Go to the festival. It's really, really, really good. I will be sharing, like I said, primarily on Instagram while I am there as best as I can from Italy. There probably won't be a live show at 7:30, but turn on notifications on the WDW Radio page on Facebook. You're going to have to go in, check the settings because they change all the time, but turn on notifications, turn on, I think it's still called like See First, and then make sure that live video is also selected. If you're interested in coming with us on our first Nat Geo expedition, you can visit wdwradio.com/NatGeo23. If you want to join us on the fantasy, I think you can actually still get on board. If you want a little last minute cruise, we've got some cool stuff there. And if there's an episode maybe that you missed and you want to listen on your desktop, not on your phone, go check out the WDWRadio.com jukebox. It is a single page player. We have access to every single episode of the show. You don't have to sort of go scroll through different pages and find the player. You can just go down there and all, I think it's including some of the lives that I did and some of the other sort of episodes I've interspersed here and there. I think there's like 900 shows in there total. It's craziness. Thank you again to everybody who was part of the Nation family. I look forward to seeing some of you, hopefully a lot of you, on the Nation call in just a little while. Also check out the spoiler support group, especially now that Mandalorian is kicking in. We've got some other stuff happening after Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's some conversations going on there. Thanks as always to Becky, even though you're not here, and the entire team over at Mouse Fan Travel. There's a number of travel advisors who are watching tonight. I saw Lori is here. I saw Sue Passauer is here. So thank you guys very, very much. I love and appreciate all of you. Please make sure you join the community, the conversation, and invite your friends to come and be part of the WDWRadio.com Clubhouse. And most importantly, thank you. None of this happens without you. So I love you. Not you. I mean, I love you too, but I love you. And I appreciate you so very, very much. I will try and go live from Italy if and when I can. So turn on notifications too. But yeah, thank you again for spending and sharing your night with me, your week with me on the podcast. And whether it's one episode or every episode over the past almost coming on 20 years. Thank you. I am aware every single day of what a blessing it is to have you as my friend. So if there's anything I can do for you, reach out and let me know. But until then, I will see you soon. Bye. Nation, get your snacks ready for Mando.